Okay, Dr. Mindy here, and I'm starting a new series called 10 Ways to Improve, and then you fill in the blanks. So I will be doing on a regular basis specific conditions that I'm seeing in my office that people are struggling with, and 10 different ways you can go about taking care of those. So for those of you that are new to me, my specialty is detoxing and nutrition. My background is, I'm a chiropractor. I also have studied a ton on my undergraduate degrees in exercise physiology and nutrition. Most of my postgraduate work for the last 20 years has been on detoxing and nutrition. I wrote this book, so a lot of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today you can find in the Reset Factor. If you're looking for a strategy to apply to reset your health, there's a 45-day plan in here. But what I want to do is roll up our sleeves and get to work and talk about how the heck do you improve brain power. So I am seeing so many people in my office right now that are struggling with memory. Especially people in their 40s and their 50s are telling me that they're missing whole parts of their life. They can't remember different scenarios. I'm also hearing from people telling me that they're losing track of words. So they go to say something and they say, oh, I can't remember what I was going to tell that person. So if you're not familiar with statistics right now, Alzheimer's and dementia is at an all-time high. There are more of our seniors are suffering with this. And we're starting to see these brain malfunctions come down into lower ages. So we now have a whole term for 40 and 50-year-olds that are losing their memory. We're calling it pre-dementia. But you don't have to succumb to this. There are strategies you can apply so that you can maximize your brain power. I am going to go through 10 of them, and I'm going to make it really simple for you. First four here really have to do with your diet. For your brain is not thriving on chemicals, it's not thriving on sugar. So a lot of this memory loss is toxins building up in the brain. So the first thing you've got to do is get off the processed sugars. This is your, and chemicals, this is your Doritos, these are your cookies, your crackers, your soda pop. Things when you walk into a supermarket that you find in those middle aisles, most of those are processed sugars and processed chemical-based foods. So you want to get those out. Second thing, there's some great research out there by Dr. Amen, Daniel Amen. He's a psychiatrist who has been doing brain scans of the brain. And he's finding that even small amounts of alcohol are causing the brain to shrink. Now, there's a lot of healthy ways to drink alcohol. That's a whole nother Facebook Live, so stay tuned. I'll do what I feel is the safest way to drink alcohol for both your liver and your brain. But know that if you're having a daily drink and going after, even if a small, moderate amount of alcohol can start to affect your brain function. Okay, third thing. Hopefully most of you have heard by now that there's something called Bulletproof Coffee. It's literally putting butter and oil in your coffee. The reason for that is caffeine's not the enemy. Caffeine has some great stimulants for the brain, and so when you pair it with a good fat, your brain is about 60% good fat. So when you put caffeine with the good fat, you get the caffeine into the brain and it makes you very mentally alert. Now, what I will tell you is that with coffee, you want to make sure it's organic and you want to make sure it's mold-free, because those two things will also damage the brain. But there's a safe, just like alcohol, there's a safe, healthy way to have coffee that can actually improve your brain power. Okay, fourth thing, I did a whole Facebook Live 2 days ago on the Ketogenic Diet. The Ketogenic Diet is one of the best ways to accelerate mental clarity. So go back and watch that, but there's a whole movement of people right now that are into the Ketogenic Diet, and it's because of a big piece is people are losing weight, but then there's a big piece because of the mental clarity and the amount of brain power you get from having a lot of ketones in your bloodstream. Okay, now let's address some other things that are going on for people, like a leaky gut. So if you're out eating GMO foods, you're getting a dose of what we call glyphosate. Glyphosate is causing a leaky gut situation. And leaky gut allows toxins to get into your bloodstream and go up into the brain, and they start toxifying the brain. So you can go check out on drmindipels.com. I have some great articles about how do you fix the leaky gut. I also have a closed group called the Resetters where I'm teaching these principles and how to repair leaky gut. If you want in, just put Resetter in the group and I'll invite you into the group. Sixth thing is the brain lymphatics. So just what we're in like 2017 right now, in 2012 they discovered that the brain has a whole lymph system that starts to detoxify it. And it is helped by doing two things. One is sleeping. When you lay horizontal at night, when you sleep, our brain actually shrinks and the lymphatic system starts to improve and it'll pull toxins out of your brain. So make sure you're getting enough sleep and make sure, hopefully you're sleeping horizontal. I know a lot of people, I get a lot of patients that tell me they're sleeping in lazy boys and things like that. That's not going to help. The other thing that most people don't realize is that you need to have a good curve in your neck. If you have a good curve in your neck, what will happen is something called cerebrospinal fluid will go up into the brain and it'll start to pump the brain full of healthy nutrients and pull toxins out. They are showing on MRI that if you lose that curve in your neck, that you slow down the cerebrospinal fluid. So you're going to allow those toxins to sit in there. This is why, as a chiropractor, I am incredibly concerned about people and texting and how we're creating a culture of people with reverse curves in their neck. It is slowing down the brain's ability to detoxify. So get to a corrective chiropractor. Make sure you know what's going on in the curve of your neck and that you've got some solutions so that you can keep the nutrients and the flow of cerebrospinal fluid happening for the brain. Again, toxic load goes up. If you minimize the brain's ability to detoxify itself, then you're going to end up with some serious memory problems. I think personally this is one of the reasons that we've got such high levels of Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, seventh thing, heavy metals. I'll be doing a Facebook Live specifically on heavy metals next week, but things like lead and mercury sit up in the brain and really affect memory. They also throw your nutrients off. There's a great website called True Cellular Detox. That's a protocol we use here in our office to detoxify heavy metals, but I'll do a whole Facebook Live on it next week so you can understand heavy metals more. Nootropics. Now this is cool. This is something new that's coming out. A lot of supplement companies are coming out with helpful nutrients, amino acids that help make your brain really mentally sharp. This is my favorite. It's called NEUROSYN. It's put out by Systemic Formulas. If you want more information on it, just put brain supplement in the comments and we'll send you some information on it. But I give this to my kids before they take tests. I do a lot of speaking, so before I'm out doing a public speaking event, I'll take a couple of these as well, and it makes your brain really sharp. There's no side effects. They're just positive amino acids that your brain needs to function normally. Meditation, you know, we have so much stimulation going on in our body right now, or in our brains, from phones, from laptops. I mean, think about it. I've been in so many conversations recently that people are telling me they're taking their phones to the bathroom with them, and they're checking their email in the bathroom. I have patients telling me that every stoplight they're checking their email. You have non-stop input going into your brain, and you've got to calm this sucker down. So 10 minutes of meditation a day is really great. So there's a wonderful app called Calm that I use on my phone, and it'll walk you through it'll guide you through a meditation 10 minutes a day. Really, you've got to train the brain to calm down. If your stress level's really high, if you're forgetting things, you need to give the brain a pause, and meditation is an amazing way to do that. Watching TV is not a pause for the brain. You really need to shut everything out and let the brain have a chance to reboot itself. And then my last, and one of my most favorite, is something called BDNF. It's a amino acid protein that is in the brain that makes your brain grow. And it's super cool because you can't supplement BDNF. There is one of the best ways to get it is to exercise. But this isn't just walking, this isn't just going for a hike, this is intense exercise. So make sure you're doing some surge training, make sure you're doing some HIIT training where you are out of breath, like bent over, really pushing yourself. That's where these BDNF growth factors are going to come in, and they're going to start to help your brain grow. Okay? Whew! It's a lot. There's a lot here. So, you know, from the bottom of my heart, if you're feeling the memory loss, if you just don't feel as mentally with it as you were in the past, I know I'm 47 years old. I have a lot of my friends that I talk to. We have a practice full of 40 and 50-year-old women, especially because hormones tend to accelerate a lot of these dysfunctions, that are telling me they're just not as mentally clear as they were years ago. So start working these principles. What you have to know is you might take the alcohol out, you might take the sugar out, and your whole brain power changes. But for some of you, you're going to have to start going down the list and maybe do them all. I know in my practice, we put together a multi-therapeutic approach for people so that eventually we go through all these steps so that they can be the best version of them possible. But it's not in your genetics. It's not because you're not taking the right medication. It is completely within your control. If you want in the Resetter page, just put Resetter. You want to know about the brain supplement, put brain supplement. Any questions, I'm on this page answering all the time. And please share this. I am so blown away by the misinformation out there, and this is all based off of science. So please share this, pass it on. Let's start a movement.